Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit for All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge thick like butter on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in yet again. Today, I would do something a little bit different with the podcast, and I'm going to answer the top 10 questions that people search online for the topic of losing weight and starting a weight loss journey. So as a hormone coach, it's interesting to me that weight loss is still one of the highest priorities on the list of challenges that my clients really want to overcome in their health journey. I can safely say at this point in my journey, I think with our company, we've helped over 2,900 people. I think it's 2,940 at this point. Anyways, I'm a metric guy, so I'm always checking that stuff out. That's wild to me. But whether it's through our hormone reboot program, our group coaching, all of our challenges, every single one of these clients, they have some sort of weight loss goal as either like a primary or secondary that they want to accomplish with their health and their fitness goals. Looking over our numbers, I had me and my team do this. The average person coming in to me from a weight loss perspective is usually more than 30 pounds. So that's typically what people are coming to us for coaching for. Weight loss, I can say, can be really tough, especially if someone is looking at it from like a really surface level of just calories in and calories out, like just focusing on the number and just trying to knock it down. My hope is that the answers to these questions that I'm going to do on this episode are going to give a little more clarity on what's going to work in terms of weight loss, as well as some deeper level of sight as to what weight loss really is, which is fat loss. I say fat loss because in reality, nobody cares what the actual number on the scale is. They care about how they feel and what their body looks like. So, for example, two people can be at the same weight of 170, and yet they can look two totally different ways. They can have two totally different body fat percentages, and they can feel completely different from each other. So that's because weight itself encompasses a lot of things. It combines all of your muscle mass, your total bone density, your organs, your stored water, along with your body fat cells, stool. All of that goes under weight. So ultimately, what people really want is fat loss. So what I'm going to do is let's get into these questions. Let's give you some great answers. All of these questions here that I pulled are the top questions for 2022 that people were asking on Google. So people, when they're searching for these things, it's like they don't really know where to get this information. So let's answer each question individually. I'll say the question and then basically I'll give my answer for it. By the way, although these are the top 10 in Google, this is in no particular order. These are just the ones that pulled up. So I don't know if first question's the most asked, least asked. I have no idea. But anyways, let's get into these. So number one, what is the best way to lose weight fast? So like I just touched on, in terms of losing weight, what people want to lose is actual fat mass. They don't want to lose overall weight because you don't want to lose muscle. You don't want to lose bone density, that type of stuff. So we'll switch that word weight and we'll say fat. From a fast perspective, I don't like it when people lose weight fast. You totally can. Like I've seen people lose, 30 pounds in a month. The problem is your body has to pass these hormonal checks in order for the weight to keep off. So sure, you can lose weight quickly, but would you rather lose 30 pounds and have 15 rebound, or lose that 2.2 to 3.2 pounds per week, which is essentially what our clients see, and lose that consistently and keep it off moving forward? So best way to lose weight is not going to be fast. It's going to be consistently. Now, that being said, there are tools that we use frequently as coaches that are really effective in making sure that we're getting consistent results ASAP. So like starting first out like your first week out the gate, you can be losing that 2.2 to 3.2 pounds every week. Okay. Now, these tools that I'm going to share with you right now, there's conditions on these tools. The condition is your hormones have to be balanced and they have to be stable, and your thyroid has to be healthy for these to work as effectively as possible. So, best way in terms of the fat, so making sure that you have a high micronutrient diet. So, a lot of people will focus on proteins, fats, and carbs for their digestion and also to make sure that they're building muscle. But proteins, fats, and carbs leaves off a lot of the vitamins and minerals that are responsible in creating a healthier hormone panel. All that fat is on the body is just stored energy because your body thinks it needs it for later. So if we fuel the body with high level of micronutrients, so that's going to be all of your vitamins and minerals, so your zinc, your magnesium, your potassium, your B vitamins, all of these nutrients are the raw building blocks that are needed to create the hormones in your body. When we are creating all of our base level of hormone panel, we have healthy estrogen, we build healthy testosterone, we build a healthy thyroid, then the body's going to look at all of the fat that's stored and it's going to say, why am I carrying this if I don't need this energy, if I'm getting the nutrients that I need? So I don't focus on the proteins, fats, or carbs. I focus on the micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals. And by doing that, you're naturally going to get enough protein and carbohydrates, focusing it on the other way, anyways. So that's, best way to lose the fat fast in my opinion. Second thing is going to be intermittent fasting. So, for people who have plateaus, or for people who have a really really struggling body fat percentage where they've been stuck for a long time, if their thyroid is at a healthy level, intermittent fasting is a great tool. So essentially, this is a window where you're eating, where you're fasting between 12 hours and 16 hours. And essentially, what's happening is when you're in that fasted period, your body is building a hormone called growth hormone. So the longer you go without eating, the more your growth hormone starts to expend. And growth hormone causes you to burn more calories than you normally would before. And it also helps promote muscle tissue growth. So when we're building that muscle tissue, more muscle means more calories burnt at rest, plus the fact that we're burning more calories with growth hormone. So it ends up being this effect that can stack. So for people who practice intermittent fasting and who do so, every 2 or 3 months, and you can do it for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, is a good way to break a plateau. And it's a good way to burn more calories consistently as well, too. So those, in my opinion, are the two best ways from a losing fat perspective. Question number two is, what is an unhealthy rate of weight loss? I get this a lot. This has the whole thing of, people will gain 30 pounds over a year, and yet they'll want to lose 30 pounds in the span of 30 days. And while it is something, again, that comes down to each individual person, the reality is on average, people can lose about 2.2 to 3.2 pounds per week. That's very consistent. That's realistic. It's maintainable. And your body's not going to get very paranoid about the weight coming down. And that's ultimately what an unhealthy rate of weight loss is. Unhealthy rate is when you lose so much weight that your body becomes shocked, because it's like, wow. And typically it's more than 10% of your body weight. It's like, wow, I've lost 10% of my body weight. The body's saying to itself, I'm in emergency. I'm in danger. This isn't normal. So now when food starts coming in, your body immediately starts sending signals to store fat because it doesn't want you to be at that weight. So unhealthy is more than 3 pounds per week because your body hormonally can't make that change, or, getting that 10% of your body weight very, very quickly without having these stopping points and making sure that you're having refuel days to bring your energy back up. Question number three, does apple cider vinegar help burn belly fat? So this, I guess I'll touch on a few supplement stuff, but apple cider vinegar is a big one. People think that it helps burn belly fat. One, you can't spot target fat on your body. So you can't just pick a certain spot and say, I want to lose fat around my thighs, or I want to lose fat around my stomach. And then boom, it will disappear from that specific area. Fat will work from the outside in, and that's because the last place that you're going to lose fat is going to be in and around your organs, because that's where organs actually needs body fat. So just like your hands and your feet and your forearms and your shins are some of the last places to gain fat, it's going to be one of the first spots to come off. So it works its way in reverse, and then it continues to burn. So that's from a burning belly fat. Nothing spot targets fat. You just have to continue to lose your body fat percentage until it reduces everywhere, not just in those easy to lose spots. And now for the apple cider vinegar part. So apple cider vinegar actually helps more with digestion. So think of it like a prebiotic that helps your body break down the nutrients in the stomach, and it makes them easier to digest. So all it is helping your stomach health. Apple cider vinegar is definitely a good thing to be taking and having, but for the purpose of belly fat, it doesn't work. A lot of supplements actually do not work in terms of weight loss and fat loss, because the majority of supplements will have you lose weight in the form of water. So you will take something that's high in caffeine, or you'll take these fat burner pills. And what happens is it stimulates your thyroid to make you sweat more. So you lose water weight. So you're not actually burning any fat whatsoever. You're just losing water from your body. You're becoming very dehydrated, and your heartbeat's elevating really quickly. So there's not a single supplement on this planet that I've ever come across that actually removes fat. And that's why even with our supplement company, Clean Basics, I don't have any of those garbage products, because at the end of the day, they don't work. It's not functional, and you can actually hurt someone's thyroid by speeding it up too quickly. So it's not good to do. So does apple cider vinegar burn belly fat? Nope, but it is good for your gut. So you can use that to help heal your gut. Number 4, how do I beat the weight loss plateau? Okay. So the reason why your body plateaus is because you do not pass a certain hormonal check required for the body to say, I am safe at this weight. So, whenever people lose weight too quickly, or whenever people extremely cut calories to a point where the body is under its maintenance level, the body begins to think it's in danger. So, essentially, there's 3 things that it needs to pass the check. So, number 1 is, am I intaking enough calories for my maintenance level? That's really, really important. So, for example, I weigh 175 pounds. So, for me, I need to be eating enough proteins, carbs, and fats to support 175 pounds plus my activity and my movement. So, if I'm exercising 4 to 5 days a week, I'm eating probably around 3,600 to 3,800 calories a day to just maintain me. And people are like, wow, that's a lot. It's actually not, because by the time you think of the repair and the exercise activity and the fact that I'm naturally an active person and I like to go out for walks and runs, it ends up eating up all of those calories. So number 1 is you have to be eating the base level of food required for you to maintain yourself healthily. So that's number 1. The second condition is, from a nutrient perspective, you have to make sure that your hormones are not deficient. So someone has to make sure that they're eating enough vitamins and minerals to support their thyroid and their metabolism for the body to say, at this new weight, I am safe. So number 1, I'm eating enough nutrients to maintain this weight. Number 2, I'm eating enough vitamins and minerals to support my hormones at this new weight. And then number 3 is, at what speed is this weight? So the body can sense, if you've been 200 pounds your entire life, going from 200 to 140 pounds in the span of 2 months, it's not safe. The body says, I have 10 plus years saying that I've been at 200, and now I'm reading my internal measurements and I'm noticing that I have a significant less amount of energy. So at that point, the body thinks that it's in danger, and it's going to, of course, signal the storage of fat. And that's how people plateau at a weight. They lose their first 10 and then they're like, I just can't lose the rest of it because your body believes that you're in danger and it's not letting the weight go. So, step one, making sure that you're eating enough calories and proteins, carbs, and fats. Step two, making sure you have the right vitamins and minerals to feed your body. And then step three, you have to do it consistently and steadily, as well as do what we call refeed periods. So, giving your body an extra little bit of calories. That way, the body doesn't go into this caloric deficit shock and it says, oh no, hold on. So, then that way you can keep losing weight consistently. So, like an example of this is we had a client, Ben Harding, who used to work with us. That so he lost. Holy cow! I think when he finished with us, it was close to 140 pounds. So 140 pounds. We worked with him for a year. It was actually a year and like 2 months. So during that time, 140 pounds, it was 2.2 to 3.2 pounds every single week consistently. Some of the weeks were higher, some of the weeks were lower, but through that span, we would increase his calories temporarily, make sure that his hormones were okay and that his body had enough nutrients, and then we would go on our path again. And because of that, the body was able to do it, but not do it in a way where it shocked his system. And all he did was he exercised just 4 days a week and he just stuck to the food process. So it was pretty simple that way from a food plateau or weight plateau. Number five, how long does it take to see results from diet and exercise? So I'm actually curious as to what this question was rated on Google. How long does it, I'm typing here, does it take to see results from diet and exercise? I need to know where this okay, so sadly this was number 3. So this is the third ranked in Google as to what people say to themselves. And the reason why I say that it's a shame that this question is on Google's top list is because what this shows to me is people don't understand, or maybe they've tried so many times that they're just getting desperate. They don't understand the length of commitment and the length of time that is involved in your health and your body. I think when people are looking for results and when they're looking for weight loss, it gets to the point where they're like, I just want this weight now and I want to maintain this. Like, I just want to work out for 5 months and then I'm good. But all of our clients, once they get started on this process, I let them know right at the beginning, this is something long term. Like, yes, I'm going to help you lose this weight. Like, we're going to, help you drop the fat, and that's totally fine. But maintaining it moving forward means that you have to keep on exercising 2 to 3 times a week. You have to search for ways to move more and build movement into your day to day routine, whether it's something small like parking far away or taking the stairs. And also, you have to be food conscious, as in you have to be eating healthy foods. You have to be eating right for your body type 95% of the time. Sure, want to go out to Dairy Queen with your kids? For those Americans tuning in, that's an ice cream place that's in Canada, right? Like, you want to go get an ice cream? Cool, that's fine. I don't have ice cream every day. Want to go have a piece of cake? Cool, right? I don't have cake every day. So, how long does it take to see results? It takes as long as it took you to gain the weight and get out of shape in the first place. So if it took you 5 years for you to gain 100 pounds, don't expect that it's going to take 3 months for you to lose that weight. And that's the frame of mind that I want you to leave off with. This is really from the see results standpoint of it. Like, I mean, looking at our clients within, because our group coaching program is between 12 weeks and 16 weeks, depending on what people's goals are. From a weight loss perspective, people will see an average of 28 to 36 pounds in that 12 to 16-week period. But afterwards, they continue to maintain that. They continue to exercise. They continue to build on that. They continue to set new goals. Seeing results is looking for an external validation of your effort. And exercise is not like, same thing with nutrition. It's not like buying a car. if you buy a car or you put money down on a car, you get the car. It's immediate. You walk away, you're like, I'm so excited to drive this car. It's amazing. Exercise and diet and activity, these are things that you're going to be benefiting from still at 75 years old, at 85 years old, when you can walk and your friends can't, when you can do something and someone else is limited to. So these results you're going to see in smaller validations, but over a lifetime. So instead of being like, oh, wow, I look in the mirror today and I'm down 30 pounds, you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, I look a little different, I guess. But then a week later, you're going to put on a top and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't been able to fit into this top before. Oh, wow, I got a compliment from someone saying I look good. Oh, wow, I used to huff and puff when I go down the stairs and now I don't. And I didn't even think about it. So the results, for you to see results, the seeing is over a lifetime, but it's minute moments. And it's so important for you to celebrate those minute moments for you to continue to build on that. I know that was a really complex answer, but at the end of the day, that's truly what the length of time is. Your entire life, really. Number 6, which exercise burns the most belly fat? There is not one exercise. One, we've talked about the belly fat already. Okay, so let's just talk about exercises that burn the most amount of fat, period, that burn the most calories. This is going to be strength training movements and compound movements. So, strength training is essentially lifting heavy weights. Cardio does not burn efficient calories because your body gets used to how long you're going for, and then you stop. Strength training and pushing your body to the limit forces muscle tissue to be made stronger. When it's made stronger, it's made bigger. And when you have more muscle, you burn more calories at rest. So that's how you burn fat, period, on your body more efficiently. So with strength training, compound movements are the most effective. So you've got essentially your squat, you've got overhead press, you've got rows, you have lunge positions. So anything that's using multiple movements or multiple muscle groups within the movement. So if I do a squat, I'm not just using my legs. First of all, it's quads, it's glutes, it's hamstrings. So there's already 3 muscle groups in the legs right there. But I'm also using my low back to help support me up. I'm also using my core. If I'm using a barbell, I'm also using my traps and the center part of my back to keep the weight up without me collapsing over. There's like 6 to 7 muscle groups done in just that barbell squat. Now, let's talk about even doing something like a row. Well, when I'm leaning over, my legs are braced. So I'm using my thighs, my quads, my glutes. Again, I'm using center part of the back. I'm using my biceps and my shoulders to pull the bar in towards me. So anything that is compound is going to be using more than 3 muscle groups. And if we can use multiple muscles at the same time and apply that with strength training where we're always pushing ourselves to lift the heaviest that we can, the body is going to have to break muscle tissue down and repair it stronger in order so that way you can grow. And that's going to burn the most fat fast. Number 7, do I have a health problem that makes me overweight? It's vague. Very vague, but I guess if you're searching in Google, that makes a lot of sense. So, do I have a health problem that's making me overweight? In my experience, the only thing that prevents people from losing weight and that makes people gain weight is a high amount of a hormone called cortisol and a high amount of a hormone called estrogen. If someone has a health problem, that's just what we're talking about here, a health problem. If someone has a health problem, their estrogen and their cortisol will be off. Estrogen is the fat storing hormone, so weight will continue to come up. Or cortisol is super high. Cortisol is their stress hormone, which means that their thyroid is very fatigued, which again signals the storage of fat and the growth. So if someone has those two types of issues, it can make you overweight. Also, conditions that affect your thyroid or that affect your ovaries and testicles. So, like having hypothyroidism, where your thyroid is running slow, having PCOS, polycysteric ovarian syndrome, where your ovaries aren't functioning right, or PMDD, where essentially it's the same thing. It's a postmenopausal disorder, or even menopause, right? But all of these conditions affect cortisol and affect estrogen. So those are the only health problems that make people overweight, um, or if someone is diabetic. But a lot of the non-health issues like obesity related diabetes or poor eating that leads to a health problem, that shit is stuff that you can fix all the time. But the health problems, this is why I always tell people, if you're trying weight loss and for some reason you have these hard sticks and it's not working, chances are it's your hormones. Because again, I've been doing hormones my entire life, and that is the one thing that will gridlock all of your success and your results consistently. Number 8, what is a healthy weight to be at for me? There is something called a BMR, which is essentially your base metabolic rate, and that's how many calories you burn at rest. For me, weight doesn't matter at all. You have to have a healthy BMR for your metabolism. And that's just to show that your thyroid is working properly. But a lot of times, the BMR scale, or the scale that your doctor will show you, where it's like a little chart where it shows age and then it shows body fat percentage and a diagonal line across, that scale doesn't take into account how much muscle someone has, doesn't take into account bone density. So, like, for example, when I go to my doctor's like, you need to lose 15 pounds. I should be, for my height and for my age, I should be 160. Well, that makes no sense, because literally when I went to go do a DEXA scan, okay, I'm floating at about 10% body fat. So I don't have 15 pounds to lose. Or if I did, I'd be at 3 to 4% body fat and I would literally be dying. So it doesn't make sense. So from a healthy weight perspective, the way that I like to educate our clients is, a healthy weight is a weight that you can maintain realistically, have high amounts of energy, and feel strong and good. If you feel strong, you can do anything you want to, you're not fatigued, and you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I can do anything that I want to. That's a healthy weight right there. That is a complete healthy weight, and it keeps you totally healthy. So that's what I would look at. I wouldn't focus on a BMR. I wouldn't focus on any other scale. I would look and I would say, hey, where was my weight when I was 20, 21? Is this something I can realistically maintain? And then focus on that. Number 9, how do I know when I need to change my workout plan or eating plan? Your workout plan should change every 3 weeks. And it should do that so you don't plateau, because the body becomes accustomed to progressive resistance. So if you're always doing sets of 10, if you're always doing Monday is chest day, Tuesday is leg day, Wednesday is back day, you're going to plateau very quickly, because your body becomes accustomed to this routine and becomes prepared. So we vary our clients' training programs every 3 weeks. That way, of course, they don't plateau and they're always seeing increases in their strength. From a food plan, the entire point of food is to not be on a plan for the rest of your life. So if you need to hit a specific goal, of course, you're going to have to make some specific changes and you might have to follow a process. But for me, I don't have a food plan. I don't weigh my food anymore, because I understand how to eat right for my body type. So for me, with my goal being maintenance, I understand how much nutrition I need every single day. I understand what foods I have to be putting into my diet for my hormones. And that's how I focus on eating. So I'm not on a plan. So I don't need to change the plan, because I'm not on a plan. The only time you need to change something is if something is not working. If you're gaining weight, then you need to look at it. If you're not building muscle, then you need to look at it. If you're not having high energy, then you need to look at it. Otherwise, You don't need to change anything. And that's the best part about it is, which, surprises a lot of our clients, is they're like, well, how do I maintain this? I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing. They're like, really? Yeah, that's it. You don't have to change anything else. You just eat your consistent meals, just like I've taught you. And that's it. Clockwork. It works. It's fine. They're like, nothing else. Yeah, nothing else. It really is that easy when you focus on eating right for your body type. You don't have to be obsessed with weighing your food, portioning things out, or having to change your plan all the time. Final question. Number 10. How do I control my hunger so that I don't consume high calorie foods? This is going to be a small little lesson on hunger and fullness cues. So, one, you have to determine whether or not it's real hunger or it's habitual hunger. Real hunger is something that doesn't go away. So if I drink water, I'm still hungry, it's real hunger. Or if I decide to, chew some gum or take a step away into another room and come back and I'm still hungry, then that's hunger. And hunger is something that you have to fuel. If you are hungry, it means you're not consuming enough food, because even our clients who are working on their fat loss goals, they're never hungry through the process. And that is because they have enough nutrients to support their body, and then the body's okay with letting go of the fat. So, from a hunger perspective, you shouldn't have hunger. So, the way that you control that is by eating consistent meals and eating enough so that way you don't feel hungry through the day. So, I would recommend making sure that you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner to start, making sure that your protein is adequate throughout the day because protein helps you feel fuller longer. And then, in terms of whether or not you feel hungry in between your meals, this is where now you need to see to yourself whether or not you have habitual hunger. So, from a hunger perspective, a lot of people mix hunger or mix eating with a lot of other signals that go on in their day to day. So they're going to eat on the couch. Well, the signal for rest is now getting confused with the signal for eat. Or they're going to eat while they work. And now the signal for work gets confused with the signal for eat. So when you start doing these things, and normally you have food while you do these things, your body's going to say to itself, every single time I sit on the couch, I eat something. So I must be hungry. Am I hungry? And then you're going to get a fake hunger cue. So it's not about high calorie foods or consuming other different foods. It's making sure that you're eating enough so you're never hungry in the first place. That's number one. And then number two, if you still have hunger issues, then start looking at your habitual hunger. Where do you have things that are intertwined with food that you can stop doing and you can separate your signals? Have a separate place to eat than when you're resting, have a separate place to work than when you're eating, have a separate place to sleep, because every time you mix more and more of these signals with food, your body's going to get these weird hunger cues, and then of course that's going to prevent you from sticking close to your sticking on your goals, sticking to your plan, being consistent with your nutrition. It's going to prevent a lot of things. So that's all the questions. Hopefully those questions helped. And remember, you can always email me, andrew@fitforallstudio.com, if you have other questions or other topics that you want me to answer on the podcast as well too. I'm happy to put together podcast episodes because really it's about what you need that, of course, we can give you that info on. And another thing too, if you are really struggling to drop your body fat or you're having a hard time passing your weight plateau, remember, this is something that I see and help clients work through as a coach every day, right? We have an amazing hormone reboot program that can reset your metabolism and help regulate the hormone estrogen, which is directly responsible for storing your body fat around you. The program is 12 to 16 weeks long, and the average person loses about 32 pounds through the process. So that is something, if you feel at this point, you're like, hey, you know what? I think I do need support from a coach, then of course, reach out to us, right? The most important thing that we teach you through the program as well is essentially how to keep it off afterwards by walking you through how to eat right for your body type, what hormones you need to manage for yourself, and what foods you have to continue to implement into your routine. So if you're interested in that, click the show notes and you can email me at Andrew at fit4allstudio.com. So Andrew at fit4allstudio.com. And you can send me an email with the word coaching. So that's it. Just say, hey, looking for coaching. Hey, I want you to be a coach. Cool. And then I'll respond back to you. We can have a convo. Or you can check out my link to my April launch. So we have a few programs, our group coaching program that's launched for some spots. So I'll drop the link in the show notes where you can see all the options of how to work for me. That's all. And you guys take care. Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode. And thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site? We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit for All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.